Go. Hang on a minute. Well, hey, neighbor, it's me, Angie. Come on in. This is our live neighborhood chat. Yeah, I didn't put up a I thank y'all for coming and visiting me today. I'm glad y'all were here. I'm gonna have to tell you all that I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. And I will have my neighborhood. Hey, 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 everybody. We made it. We may be in
Yeah.
half parts, but we made it. Um, we are here for keeping it real on It's Me Angie's channel. And I always get nervous when it's on my channel because I start thinking, did I send Ella the link? Did I?
Yeah. So
I,
the second link.
yeah, I was like, did I send it to her? Are we okay? Is my computer going to work? I get so nervous. I don't know if Ella does that when she has stuff on her channel, but I do that on my channel. It's just crazy. I
I saw.
finally got over my pull muscle that I had. Oh my gosh, that was the worst thing in my side. Oh my gosh, it was bad. I had to
Oh,
get back in my old wheelchair because my new one sits up higher and I
mm.
couldn't climb up in my new wheelchair because my pull muscle was hurting so bad.
Oh, okay.
But I'm doing better. How are you, Ella?
Well, I'm okay. A little bit tired. So if you find me yawning, that's because yes, I've been really
So if
tired.
Ella starts dozing off during the program, don't think anything about it. Y'all, if y'all go to Ella's auction, y'all know how busy she always is. We forgive her for that and we understand
I
that
appreciate.
Ella is just a 24/7 worker. I don't want to say workaholic because some people take offense to that, but I'm married to a workaholic, so I kind of recognize the symptoms. And I think Ella has some symptoms of working a lot and staying up late and doing things. And now you've been getting up early with Victoria, hadn't you?
Yes. I have to get up 30 minutes
And doing all that.
extra. Yeah.
She's adding things to her agenda. She's adding things to her schedule.
Monday,
But I'm
Wednesday, and
enjoying
Friday.
that, Ella. I'm enjoying that morning show with you and Victoria. And then when Nana comes on there, I really am enjoying it. Y'all are making it really fun. With you
I
and
hope
Victoria
so.
on Friday. Oh my gosh, on Friday. I thought I was going to wet myself Friday. And I thought, I have got to go to the bathroom or I'm going to have an accident. But when I go, what you have to understand is when I go to the bathroom and I'm in a wheelchair. When I go, I have to put my phone down. Okay. So I'm not really attentive like I would be if I wasn't in a wheelchair. So I
Mm.
have to sit it over on the sink, get it situated, pull myself up, and I'm like, I'm gonna miss something. I'm gonna miss something right here. I'm gonna miss something. But y'all are hilarious. Y'all just like sisters fighting and arguing, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah. I
this is so
mean,
funny.
it's a blessing when you pair up with, you know what? I would say for the last 2-3 years it's been a blessing, and for the last 1 year it's been a blessing pairing up with you. Last 3 years, um almost 4 with Piki Nikki, almost 3 with Victoria, and then with you it's over a year. you know January made it a year.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, is Ella gonna renew? Is she gonna renew? That's what I told Ella. I said, am I renewed for a second season? I was kind of like worried. She's like, yeah, girl, you're renewed. Don't worry about it. You got it.
It's always good when you know who you pair up and you work well with. It's good. And I'm glad because even my sister in England, came in, for her to be in like she wasn't really happy, she was in a sad mood, but for her to come in and watch us, and she left in a better mood, and that made my day for her.
Yeah, that always makes her, and it's so amazing. I can be tired or not have slept the night before, and I can catch you and Victoria or you and Nikki, or just look toward our show. And when we start doing it, I just get all this energy. Like, oh, this feels good, So it does well for me too, especially in my condition sometimes. But anyway, today we're going to talk about, we're not talking about tiredness. We're not talking about that. But that wouldn't be a bad subject sometimes for people to get themselves in check with that. But we're going to talk about fear. People having a genuine fear, and when I talk about fear, I mean some people are afraid of spiders, snakes, closed-in spaces.
Some people are afraid of
going out in public. I'm talking about any fear that you have, which I think any fear that you have brings anxiety.
Yeah.
And then you have to deal with the anxiety on top of being afraid of whatever you're dealing with. So I thought, with everything that's going on in the world today, people are having so many fears of the future, or what they're having to live in on a daily basis, or or what their family may be going through. And I just thought, well, we'll address that today. But first, let's see who's here. April is still dealing with a migraine. She came in 12:43 and said that she was dealing with a migraine. And I'm going to tell you something, y'all. That is not fun.
No.
My daughter has migraine, and it's debilitating. I'm going to say a little prayer for April. I don't know if she's still on here or not, but I'm just going to say a little prayer that the Lord will just ease that pain, April. Dear Lord, we just pray for April. She's been dealing with this headache for a while now. And we just pray that you will just lay your hands upon her head, ease that pain, give her comfort, let her know that she's surrounded by you and people that care about her and want her to get better. In Jesus' name, amen.
Well, if April, if you're still listening, if you're here and you're still listening, sometimes when people get that type of migraine, like for me, sometimes it's good to check what you're eating, because certain type of food or certain type
That's
of
so true. That is so true, Ella.
Yeah, it could trigger your migraine. Sometimes people don't like to eat chocolate. When you eat chocolate, it could trigger a headache for some people.
Red dye used to trigger my daughters. She had migraines since she was 2 years old, and red dye. Like, I was giving her Kool-Aid with the red Kool-Aid, and her neurologist said, cut out the red dye and let's just eliminate that and see how well, she gets any better. And she did. So hers was the red dye. So it is true with food.
Yeah, good to just go do tests and stuff like that. I had to cut out sugary drinks and all that kind of stuff. I was drinking a whole lot of water. And the only time I do, once in a while, I'll drink a drink, because I just want to taste the taste of sugar in a drink.
Yes.
Orange juice I drink in the morning when I'm having breakfast. And then on Fridays, when I'm doing my invoicing, I like to have a ginger beer. If I have ginger beer in my house, I will have that. But most of the time, I drink a lot of water. So,
and I will say this, and I'm not trying to get all personal and all this, but during that time of the month for women, that will bring on a migraine, because it does in my daughter.
Yeah,
because your hormones are crazy. And I don't know, April, if you might want to. We're just trying to give you some tips of how you might want to try to do something. But we love you, and we hope you get to feeling better.
Yes.
Mr. Doggity Dog is in here. Welcome in.
Hello. Welcome in,
Ashley, our faithful supporter, Ashley, who comes over and supports always.
Yes.
We got Rudy, and we got Deborah. Hey, Deborah. Now,
Goodness, Jules.
yeah, Deborah deals with a lot. I hope she's able to stay with us some today. Hey, Melinda, how are you?
Hey, Melinda, sweet.
Melinda Zane. Melinda, my goodness, she is a wonderful supporter.
Awesome supporter. Awesome.
Welcome
Hi,
in.
Boatman.
Welcome in. Everybody's speaking, but the Bradazzle, welcome
Hello.
in.
Welcome.
Reminds me when my daughter put her phone on the back of the toilet, went to the sink to wash her hands. I called her and vibrated into the toilet. Oh no.
I can see that phone going.
And her just trying to catch it. Look. Trying to catch it before it falls in.
Oh gosh.
But the thing is, when you have a electronic like me, I have to keep it away from where the toilet is because I am prone to slip and move and fall and wobble and all that because I'm so unstable. I have to set the phone way over here. But I gotta have it with me in case I have a 911, you know?
Yeah.
How in the world I would get it down from the sink, I don't know if I fail. I don't know. I guess I would say, Siri, call 911. You know, I don't know what I would do. Hey, Carol. Carol,
hey, Carol.
at our 10 on our what? Our 10 roof. Welcome in. My fear is the slow drip loss of my husband. Oh, Deborah, I cannot even fathom what you must be dealing with. My dad has dementia and he's in a facility and he has lost so much weight and he's not, let's just say he's not doing well, but I can't, and he's elderly. He's in his 80s, but Deborah's husband's not. He's our age, Ella.
What?
Yeah, wow, he's in his 50s.
That's very young. That's very young.
Because Deborah's our age. So I'm assuming that he's our age.
So sorry. Wow.
I wish I liked water more. I really do. I want to like water more, but I can't. I don't drink enough water.
I didn't before, but it was affecting when I used to drink a whole lot of fizzy drink. I go to the dentist. The dentist had to complain because my teeth were like the acid in it was affecting my teeth. So the doctor had to file the bottom of my teeth to level.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. But I've started to try to force myself. But you know what I found out? If I get water really, really, really cold,
yes,
I can drink more of it than if not.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to do that. Hey, Lena. Welcome in, Lena. Red Road.
Hey, Red Road. Good to see you, Red Road.
Let me get down here to speaking to everybody, and then hey, the Bud Files. Welcome in.
Bud Files. Welcome in.
Oh, there's beautiful Sassy Mary.
Hey, Sassy Mary.
Hey, Sassy Mary, I was going to tell you that Lincoln's done got control of my Afghan. When he's here, he don't want to let it go. He wants to sleep under it. He wants to hold it. He will not let me have any control over it when he's here. We just laugh about it. Everybody's speaking. Let's see. He just turned 60. See, Ella? He's not very old. Diagnosed at 57. Very young. I'm not afraid of snakes, spiders, gators, nothing like that. But my only fear is not being here for my kids and grandkids. See, that is a valid fear. Because Melinda, I can relate to that because of my situation. I think, how many years am I going to be able to see my grandchildren grow? Am I going to get to see Berkeley graduate from high school? You know, am I going to be here for my children? But then again, I can't. I try to switch my mind to something else and not think on it. But tonight I thought, well, let's just face our fear and just talk about it and realize that it's not the mountain that we think it is. You know, because sometimes we can look at something in a fearful way and it can be a huge mountain. Yeah. And then when we conquer it, it's like this little bitty thing. And we look back like, that wasn't as big as I thought it was, you know? Hey, Christina. Welcome in. Christina.
Good to see you.
I'm gonna take a picture of him, Sassy Mary, so you can see him with it. But I think sometimes, Ellen, I don't know if you feel this way, which I'm not, and I know you're not because you're very real. That's what I love about you. But a lot of people will not voice their fear of what they're afraid of because they're afraid that people may think they're strange or people may think they're weak. But having a fear is not weak.
No, it's not weakness.
No. It shows, it doesn't show weakness. But in our Christian belief, fear is the opposite of faith.
Yeah.
Fear and faith cannot work in the same room. So we have to try to conquer our fear to grow our faith. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Mother Mary, Jesus, and God are what are getting me through. Oh, Deborah, honey, what I can say is you having the faith and belief that you do in Christ would be the only thing I can think of that would be carrying you through what you're dealing with. And Ella and I have talked about this before during our shows. People don't know what other people are dealing with, and they don't know what the life they're living outside YouTube. And that's why we should all be considerate and respectful. We don't have to like each other, but we can be respectful, because I don't think a lot of people know what you deal with your husband as far as he has dementia. Only what you have shared. But there's a lot more to it than what you've shared, because I've seen my dad, what he's dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And heard stories about my older sister tell of how he's dealing with it and what he's going through. Rudy put the time. But I'm afraid of mice. I will tell y'all that. I don't like mice. I will walk 4 miles to get away from a mouse. And I slept on my couch all night one night because a little mouse went across my fireplace in the wintertime when we had a fire. It was about this big.
If it's something that I can kill, I'm not afraid. It will take me by surprise. That's the only thing. Stuff can take me by surprise. But if it's not supposed to be in my house, I'm killing it.
James had put out traps, and the next morning when we woke up, it was caught. And I still did not want to look at it. But I had an experience when I was younger. We lived in this house, and I was getting my shoes on to go to school in the hall of this home. Well, when I sat down, a mouse ran up my back. And jumped onto the floor. Well, when it did, I jumped over onto the bed like, oh my gosh. Well, ever since then, I've had a fear of a mouse being on me. I can't stand to look at them. I don't want a picture of it. I don't want nothing of a mouse.
Yeah. I mean, anything that is smaller, people are afraid of bugs, spiders, and stuff like that, of course, because you got some that are dangerous. There's spiders that can bite you and things like that. But it's like, if there is something that I know is not going to kill me and I can kill it, yes, I will kill it.
Well, I'm not afraid of snakes. We used to play with them during biology class in high school. But I have just enough respect for them to stay away.
Yeah.
If I possibly can, because I know there's some deadly snakes out there that I don't want to come in contact with.
Yeah.
Hey, Pamela, how are you? Welcome in.
Good to see you.
There's Patrick. Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
Come on in, Patrick. What's your fear? Do you have a fear of flying, Ella?
No.
I don't.
The thousand times I've been in the air, I don't think I'm afraid of flying. I would say the thing that I'm afraid of is just the unknown sometimes. Fear of what I don't know that is going to happen. That is what I'm afraid of. Now, this show is not about politics or anything, so we don't talk about politics because everybody's got their view on politics. But when people talk about certain things that is gonna happen, I mean, like when Trump came in, and that was my fear when I got up in the morning and I found out that he won the election. That was a big fear for me. Because I just felt like, okay, this is another 4 years. I'm going to stay indoors and don't go outside. That was my fear. Because the first time he was in office, the same thing. My fear of going outside, my fear of what people will say to me, how I was going to react and things like that, where I might end up. That was my fear, how I'm going to deal with it. So this time around, that was my fear. And
See, I think that's a valid fear, Ella. I think what you're saying is an absolutely real, and I know it is real because you're saying it is. But I do know that with your faith of your belief, and I don't know if you feel like this, I feel like whatever happened, it was supposed to happen. And we're supposed to learn through whatever we've been handed or given. You know what I'm saying? And I think to myself, ever how it turned out, I feel like ultimately we're not in control of it anyway. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what the fear comes in, is that we're not in control of it and we can't control what happens.
No.
And I just have to say, okay, Lord, it is in your hands today.
Well, that's what I did. It was like, I mean, I remember I got up that morning, I cried. When I finished crying, I cried some more. I called my husband, I cried. I called Pikiniki, I cried. I was on the phone that day crying. And I was like, I'm ready to pack my shit and go back to England, because that's how I felt. I just felt, okay, now I'm going to be stuck in the house. I have suffered anxiety and panic attacks before. So stuff like that, it's just like, yeah, here we go again. I'm going to start. I don't want people to be talking to me different because I'm different. I don't want people to say stuff to me, that is going to put me in a situation where I'm just going to say stuff back.
I was going to say, you're not going to be able to hold in. You're going to have to respond to what they're saying. And I understand that you're saying, oh, well, I can't go out, because as soon as somebody says something to me, I'm going to say my piece. I'm going to say what I think.
Yeah.
And I can.
Well, I can now say that was my fear, because I had to give it to God. And my mind was like, you got to pray, even though the Bible say pray for people in power. So I had to keep now praying for those in power, that, what, God should touch their heart, so that they make the right decision and the right, policy for the people out there,
Right.
So that was, I would say that was my biggest fear so far.
Jory Stay Gaming, welcome in. Patrick, I'm afraid of being buried alive. Please make sure I'm dead first. That is so weird that he said that, because, that is a fear, especially if you have like closed in places. The only reprieve that I have with that is the fact that they embalm you. And they take out all your blood. So you have to not be, you're unalived. You know what I'm saying? Because I can see his fear in that. Because when I get in an MRI machine, and that thing is right here on me, it terrifies me. I can't stand it.
Wow. I've been through those machines. I just lay them and let them swift me in and swift me back out.
Look, hey, Victoria, we were talking about you earlier. We were talking about you. I hope your ears were burning. Now, but I have to put the cloth over my eyes before I go into the machine and not move it until I come out. But see, I used to not be that way because I wasn't as disabled and I wasn't as heavy as I am now. to get this fat body up on an MRI machine, it takes a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And it's about this wide. It's not very wide like a bed. And I'm saying, I'm not gonna fit on that that thing. I'm gonna, half my body's gonna be off the sides of it. I'm gonna fall off.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you'll be fine.
Well, I could understand Patrick saying, you know what, please check me first. Because some people are not completely just dead sometimes, you know. I remember watching the video, they recorded my dad passing because we weren't there. So the people in the house recorded it. And we got the video. It says that my dad just died. And we could watch how he was dying. Okay. Even though he was laying down there. And we could hear the people in the house and say, oh, he's dead now. But all of a sudden, he started to move again.
Oh, would he take a breath or would he just move?
Yeah. And he was moving again, But yeah, when we watched the whole thing, he did die, finally did, So they did say people do move, and you probably think that, yes, they're still alive. It might be just the last breath in their body just leaving, them. So yeah. So I can understand that.
For the people coming in, we're talking about fear, your fears and your anxieties, and how you're dealing with it this day and time, and how you want to conquer your fear, but somehow you can't seem to get over that hump of being able to face your fear,
Yeah.
And 710, welcome in. I will be cremated. Told the kids to make sure to scatter my ashes in Hawaii, not into the septic tank.
I just said that today because we're trying to plan my grandmother's funeral. I woke up to almost 200 messages on my phone. Yeah, my siblings, they're 5 hours ahead. So they were all started chatting and everything with my mom. I woke up to all that messages, trying to, what they're going to do. What, they were just planning all this. I was like, gosh.
How old is your grandmother, Ella?
She passed at 97, 98.
Oh, she lived a good long life.
Yes. So they were planning it, and I was like, Lord have mercy. There is so much to go into it, the money. And I was like, you don't spend that amount of money when they're alive. When they're dead, now you want to do this, you want to build a house, you want to do so many things. I'm like, you know what? When I die, I've said it 1,000+ times. When I die, don't put me in the ground. Just
see, I want to be cremated too.
Yeah, I don't care if you flush me down the toilet. I wouldn't even know because I'm no longer there.
Yeah, you're not there. Hey, Nana. Hey, Aisha, welcome in.
Hi, Aisha.
Zane said he's afraid of going to school every day because kids are mean today and kids are killing kids everywhere. See,
Yes.
now that is a valid fear of a child these days.
Yeah.
It's because children can be so cruel. And it breaks my heart that you see these 10-year-old children that are come across the news saying that they did something to themselves because another child was bullying them. I'm talking 10 years old now.
Yeah. 10. Even less than that. I can't stand people that are bullied, because I was bullied in school.
And that's a taught thing. That somebody teaches that.
So when a child is saying they don't want to go to school, I remember like you get up in the morning, you don't feel like going to school because of the fear that somebody's waiting for you, because somebody already threatened you to say, after school, we're going to get it on in the playground or somewhere else. They're going to meet up. For a kid to be afraid, that's why a lot of parents school their kids at home, because they don't want to put their children through that. And then talking about all the shooting that has been happening in schools these days, it's like nobody even respects that, the kid is a kid. And, for the kid to take a gun to school and kill other children, it's just ridiculous.
Well, it broke my heart because Berkeley got to where she would say, something would happen here, like I'd try to get her to take a nap, and she would say, "You're not invited to my house anymore." And I know some child has said that to her. So I set her down. I said, "Berkeley, come here, baby." And she looked at me. I said, "The next time that a little child says that to you, you look that child right in the face and say, 'That's fine. I don't want to come to your house.'"
Yeah.
And she just kind of looked at me like, "Wait a minute, am I allowed to say that?" You know? And I said, "Berkeley, you tell whoever's saying that to you, you don't want to come to their house if they're going to act ugly to you." And, because it broke my heart that somebody was saying, "Oh, you're not invited to my house." And she's 4.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, the age where kids suck up stuff that they hear is between the age of 3 and 4 years old.
Oh, they're like a sponge, just like a sponge. Hey, Maritza.
Hi.
I went and prepared mine and hubby's funeral expenses. I don't want to burden my children. Oh, Deborah, we are going to, when we turn 59 and a half, we're going to go pay our funerals, mine and James's, because he had to deal with his mom's, and that was so devastating for him. He had to do it all by himself. His siblings didn't help him or anything. Mm-hmm. We knew then that we didn't want our children to deal with that. We did not want it.
And that's what we're trying to advise my mom is like, we know because we buried our dad 5 years ago. And we were trying to tell her, she was like, "Well, I'm just waiting for my brother." I'm like, you guys don't have that much time. He's saying he's going to do this. He's going to do that. He wants to do that. And I was like, and I had to leave him a very stern message. Although he's my uncle, he's only just probably 7 years older than I am. And I said, you got small kids. So when you pass away, what are you going to tell your kids to do? To break their piggy bank? So basically you're just telling them right now to save their pocket money, so that when you die, they're going to break their piggy bank so they can use the money to bury.
And see, I don't know how different you all are different than us about burying someone. It depends on which route you go. If you go the cremation or you do the actual funeral thing.
They do a whole big ceremony back home. They do a whole big ceremony. Our cremation, they forbid that one. They do a whole big ceremony. They build a house because they don't want to go and bury somebody in the public cemetery. So they will go build a house so that they can find a room in there so where they can bury the person. Because that's what, we did.
Wait a minute. Hold up. They bury a person. Hold up. Wait.
Inside the house.
Where is this house located? Is what I want to know.
Inside the house. Inside the house.
No, where is this house located?
In a plot of land they bought.
And how big is this house?
It could be as big as anything. My grandfather, he had a 2-story building house. Okay. That he had a 2-story building house. And they used one room in the house. Okay, dig the ground and buried him in it on the first floor.
Oh my! Well, what do they do with the house now? What happens?
It don't really matter. That room is locked. Like my dad had a
somebody
house.
Lives in it.
People live in the other places, but the other part of the house is locked up. So it's just him in the ground in that room. All the other places.
Wow. Wow, yeah. I've never heard of that. Never.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you go, other places have the different way they bury people. So it's like they don't want to put their family in a public cemetery. They build a house, whether people are going to live in it or not. They build a house just to bury them in there. Yeah.
Hey, Joanne, welcome in. Hey, Zeus.
Hi, Joanne. Hi, Zeus.
Same. My health spawn was instructions to put a carton of cigarettes in the incinerator. Hey, whatever gets you through, whatever carries you through.
Yeah, it's just also just like it's just like the pharaohs in Egypt. When they pass, guess what? They bury them in this tomb with golds and food and stuff like that because their belief is that oh, they probably will get up and eat and get dressed and whatever. You know, they bury them with stuff. In when the chief, the like we call them the Oba, which is like the chief in the village, when he passed, there's certain people they bury him with. They some you let me tell you, at night, don't go out at night. When there's a curfew, make sure you're in your house.
Oh, I
'Cause
would definitely be in my house.
you gotta be in your
Um,
house. You know, he's the king. So they have to bury people with him. Yes, people have to die to be in the grave with him. Yeah.
well, see, a lot of people talk about Caucasian people because they bury their loved ones so fast. Like, we could have someone pass away today.
And
They
they
go
bury
make their funeral arrangements today, then they bury them tomorrow, the next morning. You know, like the next morning or the next day. A lot
no.
of a lot of people wait a week. They'll wait 10 days. They'll wait several days. We don't. We just bury
Yeah,
them as
you
fast as
just
we
do that.
can.
But no, in Africa, in some places in Africa, you can't bury somebody just like that. Like my grandmother passed on the 20th. She's going to be buried on the 30th of May.
Wait a minute. This is just April.
Yes. So she's going
She
to be
passed
buried.
away on March the 20th.
Yeah. So she's in the morgue. So she will stay there till they do all the funeral arrangement, and then yes. Yeah.
So she'll stay there until that'll be 2 months.
Yes, in the refrigerator.
Oh my goodness. I've never heard of that.
Yeah. And people
Everybody's
don't die, just
thinking.
go bury them straight away. No, it don't happen like that.
Nana said, again, so many systems are broken. Education is broken. Next year, our son and our daughter-in-law will be homeschooling our 10-year-old grandson.
You
A
see?
lot of people are homeschooling their children now.
Yeah. Because the fear of you sending your kid to school and you don't know if the last time you said bye, see you later, I'll pick you up at 2, and you never have to pick them up because some asshole decided to go shoot up the school. So that's a fear. And it's like, if they, and the anxiety that a parent will have over their child, might as well just homeschool their kid.
Well, I don't know if you saw this, Ella, or people in the chat, but about that young man that got stabbed at that track meet, and his twin brother was there.
Yeah.
They over where somebody was going to sit down. You know what I'm saying? Over a seat.
Well, my point was, why were you having a knife in the first place?
Exactly.
The school thing. Why would you have a knife in the first place?
I thought that they checked you when you come in to make sure you didn't have something like that on you. That's so true, Zane. My granddaughter has had to deal with the bullying problem. Must be dealt with. It breaks my heart to see this happening. I've always been the person and taught my children to be this type of person. You stand up for the person that's being bullied. You, if they're not strong enough to back the person off, you back them off. Because that's all it takes is for one person to stand up to that weak person and, tell them you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Texas Val, hello.
Texas, welcome in. She said, "You."
Yeah, and she said,
"Who lives in the house with him?"
Who lives in the house with him?
What do you mean? Who lives in the house with him? If he's dead, he's dead.
They rent it to people.
Yeah. You rent the house. People
you have to disclose that, though. You have to disclose that.
It passed 5 years ago. People were even living in the house. So yeah.
Texas said, "Hey, well, it's free rent. I'm all in for it."
I'm all in. It's free rent.
And the way rent is today, I can understand where Texas Val's coming from.
Nah, they're paying rent.
Both my parents were cremated and had simple graveside services. It was so much easier on the family instead of a long, drawn-out funeral and the expense. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. It's just a lot. I mean, the anxiety and the fear of where you're gonna get the money from, how you gonna, you know, how
You
you
know,
gonna
I would rather my
do
children
all.
go through something that easy or
Mhm.
easier, come
Yeah.
back to our home, have
And
people that want to come by, and
yeah.
celebrate me, talk about the good times that we had together, and be done with it. They don't have to spend a lot of money on me, or you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, or a lot of time. Spend time with me now that I'm alive. Don't try to spend time at my funeral. You know, me and Todd were just talking about this topic yesterday. He wants to be cremated, but I'm not sure what I want.
Well, if that is his wish, then that's his wish. You know, for you, if you want to be put in the ground, then okay, that's what you want. You know, you gotta say, okay, this is what I want. You want to put in your ground. You ask yourself the question: do you want to put it yourself in the ground because you want where your kids can come and say
Yeah, and
that's their
leave
place?
flowers and yeah,
Yeah, unless that's the thing you want. But you know what? You can be still cremated, and you know, you can get a plaque somewhere where people can go and say, hey, you know, this person passed on this day. You're still not going to be forgotten, whether you're in the ground or not. Some people being buried and being put in the ground, and that grave, no, a lot of people haven't been there for a year, for years
yeah, and
also.
they have not even been there since the funeral. I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
Or
really.
after the funeral. Yeah.
I don't know if Victoria knows this or not, or anybody in the chat, but a lot of times people want to be cremated because the embalming fluid that they put inside you leaks into the surface of the ground, and they're saying now that a lot of the area are toxic, and they're leaking all in the soil and the water and all that. You know, they use that as an excuse of not wanting to be buried, but I don't know. I don't know. That's just a topic.
Well, don't bury me. That's all I'm saying.
It's not as much as the fear they are doing it. It's more because the teachers and principal doing, saying, and punishment on the kids without any precious contact, previous contact with parents.
Okay. As a teacher, former teacher, let me just say this. And this is one of the reasons I don't teach anymore. It's just the way the parents bring up their child at home.
It's totally
Back in the
different.
day, back
Yeah.
in the day, where if a child is disrespectful, the parent, you know, don't do anything, and the child come to school and be disrespectful to the teachers. Guess what? The teacher's job is to discipline that child. If you do not want the teacher to discipline your child, then you're going to have to make sure you teach your child respect, to respect elders. Don't talk back. And that's one thing I stopped teaching because I noticed that, okay, all this time teaching, we get into the stage where kids are respectful to their teachers, you know, and then now it gets to a stage that the parents don't care anymore. They just, all they have to do is get the kids up, send them off to school, and the kids come to school and they think that, oh, they can disrespect the teachers, and the teachers don't have no right to discipline them, because guess what? I have to wait to tell your parent first that I'm going to discipline you for being rude to me. Now, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. Call your parent in, let them know you're going to have to discipline your child, because if they come back to my classroom again and be rude, I will discipline them myself, you know.
See, I'm a firm believer, and we're the Gen Xers, and I can only speak about the Gen Xers, and that's us. We were brought up that way, respect,
Yeah,
and we set both of
respect.
our children down, and we told them, "Hey, you get in trouble over a grade, that's one thing. But if a teacher comes to us and says that you talked back, you were disrespectful, you did this, you did that, you're gonna toto, you know what? Because when you get home, you're gonna get it."
Yeah.
And you're going to get it at school because they're going to discipline you. And then when you get home, we're going to discipline you again.
Back
That
in the
is not
day,
happening.
yeah, back in the day, parents used to bring their kids to school. so that the teacher can discipline the kid in school. When they were rude at home, they bring them to school and say, teacher, my kid is being rude. So yes, you got the permission to do that. But now, you know what? It's like this world, everything that we do now is so busy with life. And, I mean, could you believe a 4-year-old telling me to go back to my country? A freaking 4-year-old telling me go back
No,
to
I
your
don't know. No. That I
and,
remember you telling that story.
and the child's parent were just there not saying anything.
And
Let
that
me tell you, that thing hurt me to the core because I didn't want to say anything because the parent was there and I was
right.
expecting
It was their place. Yes.
Yeah, but the parent never said nothing. And then when the child came back to my house and did that same thing again, where I said, my husband was there, never said anything. I was like, okay. Now the teacher in me came out.
Uh-huh.
And I put my nose on her nose, this 4-year-old kid, and I tell her, do I look like your mate to you? If you ever talk to me like that again, I will beat the shit out of you. Do you hear me?
Some kids have never been spoken to like that.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them an adult that cannot handle things, is because they've not been talked to like that.
Yeah, and they feel that when they
haven't
see
been
somebody,
disciplined.
they can shout at them and whatever. And when they get knocked out, they'll be wondering, oh, yeah, they got knocked out cold. I said, like where I said before, don't mess with me. Where I come from, we fight for 7 days. If you beat me the first day, best believe I'll be at your house the second day.
And we're going to go at it again.
And we're going to go at it again. If you beat me, I will beat. Let me tell you, till I beat you, we're going to continue to fight. You might as well not call the police because you started it. You started it. That's
like, what we was always taught. Don't throw the first lick.
Yeah.
But once they throw the first lick, it's on.
Yeah. What did they say? Don't write a check your ass can't catch.
Yeah. The only thing wrong with homeschooling is some parents don't teach their children. They do the work. I know an adult who can't read or write, but has a high school diploma. He said his mom did it. See, that's wrong.
That's wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. If you
I couldn't live with myself.
Yeah.
If I homeschooled my child and they couldn't read, that would be an injustice. Yeah, Angie, that's what we did. Family came back to my aunt's house and we celebrated her life. Yeah, that's what I want.
That's basically it. Yeah.
Melinda, they must have fell through the crack. Homeschooling is very regulated, and specific reports and guidelines must be followed and reported to the education department.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to be toxic.
Well, don't get buried in the ground, woman. I think that before a parent decide to homeschool their kids, no matter what is going on in the system, before they decide to homeschool their kids, it's something they're gonna have to think about whether they'll be able to do it.
Oh, it takes a lot because the teacher and me could have done it, but I didn't want to spend that much time with my children 24/7 with them thinking that it was only me that could teach them, because I was taking them to church and I would have to teach them. I wanted them to experience other, situations out in the world, but that's just me, and my thoughts.
I think you can homeschool a kid to a certain age and then let them go back into the school system. My friend
is so true.
Yeah.
I had a friend that taught hers to the 8th grade, and then she let them go to high school not being homeschooled.
Yeah, let them go mingle with the system. Yeah.
Hey, Debs.
Hi, Debs. Welcome in.
Their situation is not about disrespect. It's more about no communication regarding specific paperwork, lack of guidance, and complete failure of communication. I can understand that because if you get in a school district that does not hire the proper teachers that are educated enough to teach your child, That's an injustice too.
Then basically you got to remove that kid from the school. Normally you have to go vet the school before you put your kid in that school, so, and then for communication purpose, you have to communicate with your child to make sure no matter what, when you go to school, you got to respect people. You got to learn how to respect people at the end of the day.
My son and daughter-in-law, Matt and Haley, they went to the schools, and then they went to people that they work with in the medical field that they really trusted, and said, we want to build a home. What is the best school district in order for us to go visit for
Yeah.
Berkeley and our children to go to, because we want them to go to a good school. And that's what they did.
Yeah. I think, the best thing is just investigate the school, where it is, and once in a while go by there, see how, during the morning time, during the break time, see what the school is about.
And
I'm not
see
saying
what they're graded, like if they're a school, a B school, what
Yeah.
their grade is.
You can
And
always find all that information online. I think
yes, you
they do
can.
put those
Yes.
type of information on the schools,
Yes.
and it will tell you what level where the schools are. But at the end of the day, I would say don't leave all the education to the teacher to do it.
Oh, no. Yeah, I agree with you completely. It starts at home.
Yeah.
I believe that. And so does faith. You can't leave it up to a child to just, you don't want them to just go out and hear every sort of way to get to heaven that everybody thinks it is. You know what I'm saying? You got to start it at home. At least that's what I think. Everybody may not be that way. But
Yeah.
today we're talking about fears. And I can say this, I'm not afraid of dying. It doesn't scare me. I just don't want it to be very painful.
Yes.
I would like to know that. I would like to just walk in one room and out of another one and just boop, and it over with.
Yeah.
But a lot of
You know
people
what?
suffer.
Peacefully. I would like to die peacefully, whether in my sleep, whether I'm just lying down. I would just like to die peacefully. I
Yeah.
don't think I don't want like something fell on me or I'm suffering with pain till I die. I don't like that. My dad had a stroke, and he had that stroke and he was in and out of it for 12 years before he finally passed. And for to be sick for so long, okay, I mean, he wasn't happy at all.
My thing is this, not being able to catch my breath or be able to breathe, like just like normal breathing, it brings on anxiety for me. You know what I'm saying? If I get caught somewhere that I feel like that I can't catch my breath or breathe, I'm losing it. I'm like, no, raise the window, turn a fan on, turn the air down, do something. I can't breathe. That's my issue, is that I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what if I get bedridden? I accidentally get slid down in the bed. I can't pull myself back up. And then I get to where I can't breathe. Things like that go through my mind.
Yeah, the thing I was afraid of, is my bath is very, very slippery. And I remember I never used to buy the mat to put down in the bath before. And every time my phone rings, I'm always struggling to get out of the bath to answer the phone. And then I remember watching Medium. I think it was Medium I was watching. And this guy fell and hit his head in the shower on the sink thing. He fell and hit his head. And I said to myself, all right, let's go to Walmart. Let's go buy that mat. Let's go to Walmart. Let's buy that mat and put it in the box.
And look, Ella, here's the reality of it. The older we get, and like you said, falling. Say you fell and you hit your head and you didn't go instantly. You're laying there. You can't move. You can't call for help. I mean, that's just stressful.
Yeah.
In my mind, it would be. And see, you're not as large as I am. Me trying to turn over in a tub or maneuver in a tub is a lot different than you trying to maneuver around in a tub. You know,
Well, but the thing is still fear. I mean, fear of, falling down, slipping and falling down in the tub. I remember I have slipped several times. Okay, I have slipped several times, and it's God that's always caught me. Okay, because I don't think I would have been alive if the way I knew I was going to fall down. So I'm like, all right, let's go buy a placemat, that mat, a bath mat, and put it in. So yeah.
see, I feel like each time I've fallen, it's only been by the grace of God that I hadn't broke a bone, because they say if I do, then that's going to be detrimental to my health.
Yeah.
So I just feel like every time I fall and they come rescue me, I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord, I didn't break a bone. Nana said, I'm not scared about it, just worried how it would happen. I think
Oh,
we all want to just go to sleep and it be done.
that be
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
It's a comfort to know that at this day and age, we can be drugged up enough we don't know what's happening. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Um, I feel like, and I don't really understand this. This may be controversial for me to say, but somebody gets a bad report and they say they have X amount of time to live. And you'll find some families that don't want their loved one to get drugged. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And they don't want them to not feel, pain. All I can say to my family is shoot it to me. Just give it to me. Whatever y'all want to give me. They just bring it in there. You just said, I'll shoot it up in that drip. I bought
Yeah,
the
I could understand, because sometimes you still want to have time to see your kids, your grandkids, and you want to live longer for them. For somebody
yes,
like me, I don't have kids. You know, it's different. I remember when we were talking about my grandmother passing, and my sister was talking about her kids, and she got a will and all that kind of stuff. And because we're talking about parents not leaving a will or something. For me, I'm like, if I just die, just cremate me and whatever. you know but at
it's
the end
none
of
of my
the day,
business, Ella, but I hope that you have it where someone is able to pick up and just take care of everything for you, like
Mhm.
deal with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm.
And do you justice, because you deserve to be treated really well at your end time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I bought the strips. You can just put them down in the shower or tub. I
Mm.
like them so much better than the
And the
mats.
mat. Mm.
I had never used the strips. I have a
I
mat in
use
mine.
the I have the mat. My socks on is I mean, when I finish taking a shower and I want to take that stuff up, it's like really it's a struggle just to take it out, because it
Ella,
grips well.
I laughed so hard the other day, and I think it was Friday, when you and Victoria was on and you were talking about how clean the bathrooms are. I said, "Oh my gosh, Ella cannot come to my house." I had the cleaners here. I had the ones that did the deep clean.
Yeah.
You could have come then. You could have come on, because they did clean it spotless like you would like it. But and that's really the way I like my bathroom, is that spotless, the way you're talking about. But
Mm.
when you started talking about going behind and cleaning the bathroom, I thought I was going to wet myself. I was like, oh my God. And then you said you could eat in your bathroom. I'm like, no, not eating in my bathroom. No.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Uh, it's a comfort to know. Oh, okay, I got that.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
she
got
talked
that
about the
one.
strips. So if
Yeah.
anybody has any fear that they have never talked about or shared, and they feel like they want to just say what they're afraid of, it's not weird. I mean, if you're afraid of something, you're afraid of it. I mean,
Mm.
some people are afraid of different types of food, animals, people, crowds, elevators. Some people won't get on an elevator. Some
Yeah,
people
because they feel
won't
they're
get on
gonna
an
get trapped in
escalator.
it. Mm,
They won't get on an escalator or anything like that.
yeah. And people,
But
yeah,
I
because
don't.
people just feel they're gonna be trapped. They want to be trapped in it, or if it's just gonna fall, they don't want to experience that. So yeah.
So that's what our discussion is about today. We're so happy that everybody's here and in the chat, uh, here to hear us and put in
Yeah,
their
we went
their
to
two
talking from
cents.
here to talking about school and
If I
homeschooling.
fall, I have so much trouble getting back up. I have trouble trying to get up because of the
The
nerve
nerve
pain and
pain.
weakness in my legs. Okay, I'll just put it to you like this. When I fall, I am there. I mean, it's like I'm there. I have to have there's no getting over on my knees and trying to stand myself back up. It's
Mm.
I gotta have people to help me. And one good thing about it is I still have a good leg. That if they can get me up high enough, I can push down and I can help them. But you're talking about a heavy woman. I am a heavy woman. And I'm nothing but dead weight when I fall.
Hmm.
I'm afraid of heights. I've never been afraid of heights that much. I've not been one that was
It
afraid
depends
of.
on how high you can go. I went to Chicago and we went to that tallest building in Chicago. Okay, I mean, phew, just looking down. Yes, even though you're up, just looking down alone, it is
So
fearful.
what you're saying, Ella, it's different than when you're on a plane than when you're standing somewhere.
Because in the plane, most of the time, you're not really looking around. Or when you look around, you see people. You're sitting down. It's like you're comfortable, you know.
Right.
But then it's like if you're standing, okay, in the tallest building, it's mirrors everywhere. I mean, all the windows everywhere, and then you're looking. You when you see when you're looking at stuff, this is your level of looking. Even when you're on the plane, this is your level of seeing stuff. Now, if you're high up looking down, that is the fearful thing because you're looking down. It looks like you are definitely going to be falling.
Yeah,
When you
it's
look
not that fall, it's that sudden stop that's going to be the problem when you fall over and you accidentally.
I think it was they call it the Sears Tower or something like that. When you get off it and you know what, you look and you're looking down, it does that fear of like you're gonna fall because you're going like this. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that it would be scary to think, oh my gosh, all I got to do is make one wrong move and then I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm over it. My daughter-in-law and her sister went skydiving a few years ago before
Mm.
they had the second child, of course. And I looked at Matt and I said, Matt, how do you feel about Haley going skydiving? I mean, this is serious. He
Mm.
said, Mama, if she wants to go, I'm not going to try to keep her from doing it.
Yeah.
He said, but I'm not doing it. I'm not jumping out of the plane.
Doing it.
I'm not doing it. But I love to go high in buildings. I've been to the Empire State Building, walking out on the glass walk out of the Grand Canyon. It all makes my stomach feel butterflies.
Yeah, yeah. You will enjoy it, but woof, it does like overcome you, like that fear. It's not a secret. My family knows. I have a fear of ladders and football stands that you can see through the crowd. Oh, Carol.
I haven't been on that many ladders to know if I'm afraid of being on a ladder or not. I don't know if I am or not.
I've climbed a few in my days, so yeah.
I know what you mean, Angie. It's hard to get my knees to try to get up. I'm heavy too, so it makes it hard for people to pull me up. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Nana, I could never do that.
I
I
mean,
want to ask you a question. How many people in the chat would actually go skydiving, or have you done that? I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it because it's not the kind of thing that I like doing. So that's one thing I wouldn't want to do, skydiving.
And
No.
we were there watching. I said, "Oh
Ah.
my gosh, what am I doing here?" I could actually see a tragedy happen here, but I stayed. And then my crazy husband was like, "I wonder if they'll take me. I want to try it." And I looked at him like, "No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want to do that." I didn't think I could either, but I did. I would never skydive. I went, what do you call it? Oh my gosh.
But if I was on the plane and something is happening on the plane and we have to put on the vest and everything to jump out of the plane to save our lives, I wouldn't think.
Oh, I'm jumping.
No, I'm jumping.
Somebody's gonna tandem me. I'm gonna say, you get on the back of me and you're gonna tandem because you're gonna pull the string when I get ready to pull the string.
I'm putting on that jacket, ready to go.
Yeah, because James is gonna be back there tandem. You know how they get behind you, and he's gonna say, "Okay, Angie, I'm about to pull the string. We're about to land.
Like, we're about to go because this plane is about to land right now." So yeah, I'm definitely going. Definitely. Yeah.
No, I would not go skydiving. I don't even want to get in a plane. I've been on a plane before. I don't have a problem flying. I don't have a problem.
Yeah. I've flown so many times. The only thing Nana said she's been on a helicopter. That's the only thing I haven't been on. I think I'm more afraid of being on a helicopter than being on a plane.
You know, I've never been on a helicopter, but they say it's totally different than a plane ride. That it's more unstable. It moves around, you know, a lot. I don't know if I could do that or not.
But no, go ahead, jump out of
Maybe not saying I wouldn't skydive. I would go up in the plane and decide then. Yeah. You have to decide quickly. Let's see.
Last time she flew was in 80s. What? Wow.
It is different than a plane. I imagine it is, Nana. I've done that. Skydiving was quite an experience. It helps overcome a fear, that's for sure. Oh, I bet. And then I would have to have a change of clothes when I got down because I would wet myself all the way down after I jumped or whatever you do.
I don't know. Anything that I'm going to jump and it has a rope to it, I always feel that the rope will probably snap, you know, and that's the thing. Like when I go to the park, and I've been like when I went to Busch Garden, we're at 50 feet above the ground, you know. I've done things like that, and I was like, okay, I'm okay, you know, because
let me guess, you wouldn't bungee jump.
No, I don't think I would do that.
I don't think I would do that.
I just feel that the rope probably will snap. So yeah,
I wouldn't bungee jump either. I wouldn't do that. Ella, is Tracy on tonight?
Yeah, I think she is. We better start getting ready to end the show.
Yeah, is she? Let me see if she's already on. Let's see. Has she started? Let's see if I can see. 24 minutes ago. She's gonna be on in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So we got about 5 minutes left, guys, to talk about fear. Anything y'all want to. Nana said, me too. Is probably have fluids coming in every orifice of my body. Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes. I would probably be unstable for a while. I'd probably come down. Where am I? Who am I? What's my name?
I've been in a roller coaster and I screamed so loud because this thing was spinning, and I was like, never again.
You know, I'm not afraid of roller coasters.
I don't like
roller coasters. They got some nowadays that I've seen on YouTube that I would never, ever get on.
I,
And my
you know what?
daughter-in-law loves them.
I don't like roller coaster because my heart wouldn't take it. You know, my
And
heart would not
roller
take it.
coasters are put up by men that
Mhm.
they are bolted all this together, and they could leave something out, something could get loose, you know, go crazy.
I look at it when I go to the parks. I look at it as fun, and like, oh yeah, that would be a nice thing to go on. But no, I got cornered in one time in England with my friends. We went to the park, and he cornered me in it, and there was no way I could escape to get out. So yes, it was one way you're going. There was no way you could get out of it. As soon as you get there, you get on. So there was not like, okay, I chickened out. You can't chicken out of it. You
Once
have to
you're
get
on,
on.
you're on. So
Yes.
you have to go through it.
That thing spin all the way around and everything. Oh Lord have
And
mercy.
where you were in England?
Yeah. Went up and down and everything. I screamed so loud, and I was like, and then I tried the mummy at Universal, the mummy
Uh-huh.
ride.
Uh-huh.
I was glad I was able to, because it was dark. I held on to my husband so tight, screaming my head off that I want them to let me out, But yeah,
Yeah, it's one thing to do a
I don't
roller
like roller
coaster.
coasters.
It's another thing to do the roller coasters that's in the dark.
I
I
don't
mean, you
like.
can't see. That is
Yeah,
even worse to me. You
yeah.
know, I
I
want to
don't like
stick
roller
with It's a Small World after all.
coasters.
You know, getting the little cup thing, the little teacup thing. I just want, at my age, I want to stick with that right now.
I thought it was a small one, and I thought, you know what? There's a small one. I can go on this roller coaster. It's a small. It's not high like the other one. I thought, yes, I'll be good at it. Nope. It kept going down and up and down, and I was like, yeah, my stomach was so
And you were like, how long is this thing going to last?
yeah, and I was like, okay, it's the small ride is gonna stop. Nope, it just kept going. Yeah, don't do roller coasters. I don't love it.
All right, guys, I want y'all to go over and raid Tracy. Tell her that it's me, Angie, sent you over there. And here's what I want y'all to do. In 2 weeks, Ella and I'll are keeping it real again on her channel. I don't know what day that is. I have no idea. It's 2 weeks from tonight. If
Yeah.
y'all have anything that y'all want to talk about, discuss, send Ella an email or myself an email. Let us know, and we'll try to bring it up. We're not
Yeah.
afraid to,
Next one will be on the 20th.
because Ella, he will tell it like it is, be upfront. She's as real as she can get. I'm as real as I can be, and we love to discuss it all with you. So, with that being said, we are
Thanks,
going to
guys, for
leave you with
coming.
that, and we love you, and talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Text